Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, August 5th, 2024. It is the day before I head over to Europe, to that city, for the place where they're doing the things. I don't know really what the rules are in terms of what I am or I'm not allowed to say in terms of trademarks. So I'm just going to avoid using all the trademarks to the extent that I can. We'll see how annoying that gets. But if I'm talking funny, it's because I don't understand any of the rules. And I went to law school. All right, before we get started today, let's hi to everyone listening on the audio-only version on the podcast. Hope you guys are having a good run and surviving this heat and humidity or humidity. A lot of you guys are getting both of it. I could see it in the chat too. It's humid. I had a long run yesterday, and by the time I was done, I was pretty much like, I don't know if I like running anymore. Because the humidity is just so demoralizing. One, I could deal with it. I can make the adjustments that I need to, and I think I'm doing the right things, but the paces are just so frustrating. You're like, I worked really hard. My heart rate on accident got a little high. I was in the 170s, and I was running what pace? So it's hard. It's hard. So hang in there, guys, I guess. Or give up. That's another option too. But either way, if you're listening to this, hopefully you've got extra fluids, because that's been the only thing that's been keeping me sane. I've been bringing like 2 to 3 times as much fluid as I think I need normally on a hot day. And that's been making the things bearable. All right. And then for everyone else watching this later but not live, you're watching the #1 drive time radio style running show on the internet. Hopefully you guys are having a good time wherever you're watching this. Probably you're doing some dishes. Probably you are folding laundry. Either way, I hope it goes well and you're not even thinking about it and you can mindlessly kind of do that while having this on in the background. All right, let's see who we got. Who's complaining about the heat today? Eliza's here, says, hi, GoFam. Roasting heat and humidity, but glad that today marks the last sunset at 8 here. Going to be getting dark fast. Oh, really? Yeah, I was just thinking like, oh, cooler temps are going to come soon. But this week here in Crystal Lake is hot. Yesterday it was hot. It was almost 90 degrees when I went on my run, which is warm for me, and I couldn't handle it. Sean Devlin says, hey, KRC, ran 6 this morning. At this point, I don't know if it's a relentless humidity in New England or I'm just old. It could be both. I mean, I'm older than you, Sean, but I think I'm older than you. But the humidity, when I was in Ridgefield, I was in Connecticut last week, I got outside and I was just like, I've never had to walk on an easy run. Well, I've walked on easy runs before, but it's not usual that I walk on an easy run. But I was walking on my easy runs while I was out there. It was hard. All right. See, no, not a lot of people complaining too much about heat. It's just me, I guess. Me and Eliza and Sean are complaining about the heat. And I do want to say, I put this in the chat. I think there are track events going on right now at that place that I'm going to tomorrow. There are things going on. Let's keep the spoilers to a minimum because I'm not watching those events. I know there's other people that are watching those events. Maybe they got to work or something and they can only have one extra screen on in the background and it's this. Or maybe they want to watch it in the prime time with their family, which I did with my daughter yesterday. It was a lot of fun. So let's keep spoilers to a minimum. And Lena says, hey, co-fam. And Mike, hope you're getting good respite in the midst of your many adventures. Ooh, I'm tired. I think part of it's the travel, but a lot of it is just the heat and trying to running a fall marathon. I haven't run a fall marathon, like tried to run a fast fall marathon in a long time. No, I remember why. It's hard. It's hard. All right. Eliza wants to know, can we talk about yesterday though and Noah Lyles? Yeah, that was, I didn't watch the race until prime time yesterday. And like I had to remember that I can't go on any social media because my feeds are just all Olympics and especially running related activities. I mean, not that other word. It's running related activities. So me and my daughter are watching it in prime time yesterday. And first, we watched the semis, and I'm trying to tell her like who the main players are and stuff. And the final comes on later on in the broadcast, and we had started it late, but we were watching it and fast forwarding through all the commercials. And by the time we got to the final, we had gotten to the caught up in real time. So we had to like kind of wait through commercials, and we're watching the thing, I guess live, but live for the primetime broadcast, which was not technically live, but you guys know what I mean. And she's like, "Who do you think's gonna win?" I'm like, I don't know if Noah Lyles is gonna win it. I don't know. I think he's gonna get first or second, but I'm not sure. But I think it's gonna take a 9.8 or 9.79 to win. I think that it's going to have to be pretty fast. And so we're watching the race, and it goes on, and everyone's seen the results by now, right? So this is yesterday's events. So I feel like I could talk about yesterday's events. But finishing time, it's a photo finish. Noah Lyles and Kashane, what's his last name? The Jamaican. Photo finish. Both of them with a posted time of 9.79. I feel like I look like a genius to my daughter. I was so proud of myself for calling the time that the 100 meters was. I've never been able to do that before. And I don't know what possessed me to think that it was going to be 9.8 or 9.79. I've been listening to a lot of Torch Talk, the Citius Mag broadcast. So that's a lot of that. It's informed by it. And I did watch the Speed Netflix documentary. But I've also been following. I was at half of the races that was in the Speed Netflix documentary. So I've been following the 100 meters. And I feel like I felt pretty good. I felt pretty proud of myself, to call it. AJ says they were trying to sell the Jamaican at the finish, but I saw Noah Lyles hit the line first for sure. I thought that Kashane had it. From my view, I didn't think that Noah caught him. In the photo finish, in all the photographs, the still photos, it's cleared, but like I felt like in real time from my angle on the couch, it looked like Kashane had it. Daniel Britton says Grant Fisher was amazing in the 10,000. Yeah, you know what's a take on mine here to counteract the fact that I was able to call 9.79 or 9.8 to win the 100 meters? Someone at Ridgefield the night before the 10,000 meter final asked me what I thought about Grant Fisher. I'm like, I've seen that guy race in person, and it is electrifying. He's such an easy person to be a fan of. And I was like, but they're just so fast in the 10,000. I think that he'll be top 5, but I don't know that he's going to medal. That I'm glad I didn't write that down anywhere, because that take did not last that aged horribly. But that was also an amazing race. I mean, just like to all the speed changes when they happen, it's so fast. It's amazing. And it's just like so incredible to watch. And I'm so excited that this year for the Olympics, they have the follow cams all around the track. So you can not only see them on the home stretch, you see them on the back stretch, which I think they had for last year's Budapest, but they also had one around the back turn or the first turn after the first 100 meters on the track. And I feel like that angle is also really important. And that's where I feel like we saw a lot of the pace changes. So it was just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Calvin says, I watched Shannon Sharp's podcast after the race, and he was hilarious, just mad trash talking about the U.S. victory. Also, he's giving $50,000 to those who broke the world records for the U.S. Yeah, he had to. Did you see his? I don't know if he tweeted it or he put it on Threads or what, but I saw it on Threads. He's saying he woke up and 50 bands light because the mixed 4x4 broke the U.S. record. It's pretty awesome. And Richard Wilson says, Des Linden said that from the far side of the stadium, everyone thought the Jamaican got it. That makes sense to me because from the far side, the Jamaican is closer to you, so that person looks like they're in front. But yeah, it was good. It was a good race. It was a really good race. Sydney Orr says, you're not in Paris? I'm leaving tomorrow. My flight's tomorrow. My main thing is the marathons. So like as much as I am pretty much a savant in the 100 meters from a fan's perspective, as we all now know, I'm really just there for the marathons. So that's Saturday and Sunday. But I do get to go to the stadium a couple days, so that'll be fun. Midlife Runner says, in the 10K, I caught first place at mile 4.5, and I pretended I was Grant Fisher. Man, that guy's so fun to watch race. And good job on your 10K. It's amazing. Calvin says, Koreans go in 5 for 5 gold medal on all the archery events and have gotten gold in saber, air rifle, taekwondo, and pistol. That's awesome. You know what? I was disappointed though. I was super into women's ping pong, and I watched the bronze medal match. That was good. I mean, the Japanese ping pong player that beat the Korean ping pong player definitely played a fantastic match. But I was rooting for the Korean ping pong player for obvious reasons. But also because I don't know if you guys have been following. I don't know if she's been putting it on TikTok or what. But apparently there is a supercut of all the snacks she's been eating on the side of like in between matches and stuff like that. And it's really funny. And I'm like, this ping pong player eats like a marathoner. It's really fun. So you guys got to try and go find that. All right. Oh, and you know the other thing? I'll say that for later. All right, let's get to these boxes. So these boxes are specific things that I bought for my trip. Now, if you've been following along on the Move Your Mind tour this summer, you guys know that I've been experimenting with other different toys in terms of different ways that I'm going to capture the experience of what I'm doing when I'm on my European vacation, let's say. So I got a couple more things. I don't know if I'm actually going to use any of these, but let's take a look and see what they are. These are all things that I bought with my own money. No one sent these things to me. So we'll see how they go. So the first thing that I got is a phone gimbal. Now, I feel like it's 2024. We shouldn't be using phone gimbals. We shouldn't be using really hardly any gimbals. Unless you have a very specific professional project that you need to work on. Like for the things that I do, a gimbal feels like a step backwards. But the reason why I decided to pick one up and at least play around with it a little bit, and I should have really opened this and played around with it sooner, is that one of the things that I bought to get around the problem that I'm going to have with getting a big camera through security, in other words, I'm not going to be able to get it, is that I bought a different phone. And this phone has 7.1x magnification for shooting video at 4K, 120 frames per second. Problem is, even though it's Sony, and Sony has steady shot, and this phone does technically have steady shot on it. Oh man, I broke the box. I hate it when I break the box. Is that it's still blurry when I'm shooting at high frame rates. And so I thought maybe I would at least play around with the idea of using phone gimbal. So Calvin says, speaking of the phone, I was shocked that you went with the Xperia over the S24 Ultra, which has best-in-class cameras. What was it? Was it the SD card that swayed the decision? The SD card slot was part of the decision, but the bigger thing was that from the videos that I had seen, it looked like the 7.1x zoom is bigger and looked better than the 5x zoom that's available on the S24. Now, the S23 had 10x zoom, but that always looked so trashy to me. And so I thought, all right, 7x zoom, I can work with that. And so that's what I went with. Am I thrilled about the decision overall? I don't know. But, you know. All right, let's see. How do I unlock this thing? Okay, unlocked. Now, I'm pretty sure that my friend Johannes at Runner's Nerd has this same one. And I know there's a lot of other content creators that use this same one. So, we'll see. All right. Let's close it for now. And I think it's magnetic. So, you put this thing on your camera. Oh boy. And then you open this thing up. do I make it go vertical? I don't know. I don't know how to use this thing, but the idea is then... Now you've got a phone gimbal. This is not balanced. I don't know how I balance it. I think there's an app and stuff that you have to download, but the idea is that this should be more stable. And I have to configure it and stuff, I think. But, see, this just doesn't feel like the move. You know? I don't know. I don't love this already. I'm having many regrets. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it would help if I used the manual, you know, and figured it out a little bit. But, you know, generally, this is the idea, I think, with these things. This magnet was strong. Oh boy, it did not like it when I took the thing off the magnet. Oh boy, it started shaking. I don't know. Johnny says, DJI, you need the app and then calibration. Yeah, I need all those things. Calvin says, it's too much work for what you get. Not great for run and gun. It's definitely more of a more considered filming approach. I'm definitely not considered. You know, mine is just shooting from the almost literal hip a lot of times. Daniel says, it looks like something from the past. And Steven Gersdorf says, I'm afraid of it. I'd be afraid of it falling off the magnet. Johannes runs, I think he runs like a 31-minute 10K. And he runs with his. And he's fine running at top speed. So I'm not worried about it falling off at all. But, you know. And Calvin says, my gimbal is gathering dust as I type this. I have 2 other gimbals. I use them as ballast. For some of my lights, I need to hang a weight off the back of it so it balances. I attach the gimbal to it. Like the case that it comes in. That's what I use my gimbals for. Dark Kid says, when all else fails, read the directions. I don't have time to read the directions. I mean, I will read the directions. Other thing that this has, which I feel like I will definitely never use this, is the extendable selfie stick part. This doesn't... I don't know. None of this feels great. I don't like this at all. That was... I don't know. I hit this button that says it's spinny, and I hit it twice, and then I think it hit something, and it just fell off. So I have a feeling I think I could find uses for that, but my European vacation is probably not going to be it. All right, so Leona says hopefully you can return it. I'm going to play around with it. I think that there are some situations where I think it'll actually be really good. What I was actually thinking about, too, is that, like, I don't love the fact that GoPros are still, even in 2024, basically 1x zoom. There's no 2x zoom or 5x zoom available on a GoPro. That would solve all my problems. But I was thinking, like, well, Johannes can run with his really fast. What if I can run and film a marathon with it? Is it that much different than running with a GoPro on a stick? It is, but... So that's what I was thinking about it. So maybe I'll use it for some marathon footage or from some crowd footage, stuff like that. But I think, given that I'm leaving tomorrow, it's too soon. So I'll play around with it when I get back, maybe, but I don't know. All right, next box. Just so you know, the unboxings are going to get weirder and weirder from here, okay? So, in that place that I'm going to go that has the activities, I've been told that it's very hot and also air conditioning isn't everywhere. So, I was with my sister last weekend. My sister who used to work at Olympics for her job, told me that, like, you're going to want to bring a fan And I'm like, a personal fan? You mean like the little spray fan that I got for my daughter for cheerleading camp? That one? The one they sell in like the impulse aisle at Sports Authority? Like that? She's like, you're going to want something. It's going to be hot. And so I got this. It doesn't even fit in the box. Look, the box is like bulging. I don't know. But it's the world's #1 portable fan. Congratulations, they did it. They're #1. But let's see. Comes with a case. Stephen C says, co-bought a beret. I don't need to buy a beret. ASICS has already provided a beret for me. So there we go. So it comes with a little, not case, a little bag. Some accessories, which is just a charging cable. I'm just going to leave that in there. And then, this is pretty small. Do you think they would let this inside the stadium? I don't know. I feel like I was watching the Today Show, and I felt like all the people that were on the set for the Today Show had these and were using them like when they were off camera because it was hot. So I think you turn it on, and then you turn this up. Is it dead? Did it not come charged at all? Oh, here we go. Oh. This is nice. This is nice. It works. I feel much cooler. See, so it has like a number gauge on it. I'm at max power right now. Hear that? That's a lot of power from this little fan. It is #1 for a reason, I think. You know? Calvin says, bring it on a run. Can you imagine just run selfie stick in one, phone gimbal in one hand, personal fan in the other? That's funny. Kuo Chenhan says, that'll be loud. Sounds like a hairdryer. It looks like a hairdryer. It probably actually is a hairdryer. It was rebranded. But it's cool. It's blowing like nice air, you know? Getting Johnny says, just glue a phone to it. Midlife Runner says, marathon PB in Berlin with this fan. All right, let's get to 50%. Still feels nice. I mean, I don't know. My sister has been to every Olympics since, I want to say Torino. So I feel like she knows what's up. She was in Tokyo for the Olympics too. She said it was super hot. At low speeds, it sounds like it's something's grinding in there. I don't know. Yeah, Steven Gerzer, I can hear the bearings running now. How long will it last? I only need it to last like 3 days. You know. Johnny Dodgen says, if I can't mention the big event you're going to in that European city, how does it work legally for your Runner's Weekend video? Is it just restricted during the event? I really don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to film it the way I would normally film it, but also take a lot more pictures than I normally do. Pictures in venue are different than video in venue. So I really don't know. And I just have a feeling that I'm small enough that no one's going to notice. Here's the thing that I also don't understand is that, so like, you know, I'm trying to be aware of all like the media rights rules, even though I'm not personally a party to any of those contracts regarding media rights. But I'm trying to be aware, I'm trying to play nice with everybody. And at the same time, I'm looking at stuff on Instagram that is literally a screen capture of like the NBC feed. And it's got hundreds of thousands of views. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm seeing Instagram posts using photographs lifted from the end, like whatever, maybe it's BBC, but whatever like the official broadcast stream is. And people are using that along with graphics from the Olympics and posting those as if they had rights to those images. And for some of them, they do clearly. Like Citius Mag has rights to images because they have photo credentials, and those are the photographers that are there with Citius Mag. So that makes sense. But there's other ones that I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're not there, and if they are, they don't have like photo credentials. So those are, I mean, but I guess photos are. I don't know. I don't know how any of it works. None of it makes sense. There's no sensible rule to me. So, like when I'm there, you're not gonna see too many posts from me. So I don't know. Senior says the whole thing is under embargo. Kind of. I don't know. I always just feel like anyone that really wants you to not use their trademarks, I will go out of my way to accommodate you. So like, like people have to say like the big dance or the big game. I don't really watch the big dance at all. I don't think I've watched one of those games in a long time. I watched the women's with my daughter, but I don't like watch the men's at all. So, All right. Should we get to the next one? Let's get to the next one. This is the most ridiculous one yet. This is something also that my sister, who has worked Olympics and has been to many Olympics, says that this is a good idea. And keep in mind, we're siblings, right? I can't tell if she's giving me good advice or if she's intentionally giving me bad advice. But it is a bladeless neck fan. And there's a surprise to it too. It's not just a bladeless neck fan. So it's basically a fan you wear around your neck, kind of like a travel pillow, but instead of it being soft, it's got fans inside. This one comes with a charging cable in the box. That's it. But there's an extra something special to it too. Oh, and she told me to get this blue color, which I'm not loving. How do I turn this thing on? Okay. Now, one of I'm reading the product like listing on this when I'm doing it, when I'm ordering it, and it specifically says it's bladeless, which I'm not sure how that works, but it won't be catching your hair, which is important for me. I gotta tell you, this is kind of nice. I don't hate it. Now, I will say, I did see a running YouTuber endorsing a product similar to this the other day, and that person ran in theirs, at least for the ad read portion of it, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna run this. Remember when they used to make Bluetooth earbuds that were like this, and then they had the little earbuds come out of these? I've tried running in those, and that drove me crazy. But this, at least it's hands-free. So you get this, the Meta AI camera glasses, everything's hands-free. That gives me lots of room for things. Holding other things that I might want to hold while I'm at the event place, Alex Herman says, are you going to the big event or to amusement parks in Orlando? Are people wearing this at Disney World? Disney World don't care if you say Disney World. They like it when you say Disney World. I haven't been to Disney World in a few years, so I don't know. Midlife Runner says, the AC went out at work and a barista brought one of those in and they weren't great. I feel like so far it's working. Let's crank it up. It says, look at this. It says 80 on the side. Oh, and then there's this snowflake button, and now there's an 80 with like an asterisk, but that's actually just the snowflake. And what makes this one special is that there is a cooling ice pad on the back. So this, it's getting cold. So the idea is that not only are you getting fan up here, which I think is adjustable somehow. I don't know how. Are there buttons? Maybe it is or isn't. You get the fan, and you get like an electric ice thing on the back. So this is, I feel like someone just put a piece of metal on my neck. I don't know that it's actually colder or cooling me off. I don't know. Lena's like, I actually like that. May look into getting one, LOL. I feel like I'm just going to roll up into the stadium like this. I'm going to be the coolest guy in there. See, when I went to Budapest, it was like 90 degrees at 8 o'clock at night in the dark in Budapest in that stadium, and not a breeze anywhere to be felt. And it was after dinner, and I would fall asleep from time to time because it was just so unbelievably hot. I'm not going to fall asleep this time. You know? So many fans going on. Let's see. Can I increase? So this side, it just looks like the other side, but there's actually no buttons on this side. This side, I don't think there's any settings. Oh, yeah, there is. Off, 1, 2, 3. We are at max cooling, ladies and gentlemen. Max cooling. I don't feel like this is giving me a lot of cooling. The fan part, I don't feel like the fan is doing much for me, to be honest with you. I prefer the handheld fan to this fan. I feel like I guess it helps. It's just blowing air around. Calvin says, Ko has long given up on looking like he's not a tourist. Look, if I go to that European city, no one's thinking that I'm local. You know what I mean? I feel like Europeans are very good at knowing who does not fit in normally. And it doesn't matter if I'm wearing this or not. But this is... Maybe it's because I have my headphones on. And not feeling like the whole breath of the air situation. I feel like my hair is blocking a lot of that wind. And now... This is nice. This is nice. Guys, I gotta tell you, my sister was right. She was right. She knew I was gonna want one of these things, and she was right. It's still making noise. I thought I turned it off. Oh, maybe it's just doing the conductive cooling. How do I turn it off? It won't turn off. Oh, there we go. Now it's off. All right. There we go. Imagine this, does this count as an OnlyFans channel now? Yeah. You know what I'm hoping does not happen, though, is that now that I've like shown some of these things on the channel, like now I just feel like my inbox is gonna be bombarded by brands that sell these things, and I don't. One is more than enough, you know. But here we go. It charges by USB-C. It's crazy. And Richard Wilson says, "Watch this tech make its way to Western states." Can you imagine if Western states has to make a rule about like no mechanical cooling devices? Matthew L176 says, the noise from the fan would annoy me. It sounds like a Bitcoin farm. Here's the thing. I'm planning on wearing it in a stadium where there'll be a lot of ambient noise. So I'm not sure that I would even hear it. I'm guessing that I'm not going to even hear it. I don't know. And Calvin says, Ko will have to defeat Chicago TSA to get these into France. I feel like I'll be fine with the neck fan. I'd be like, you guys ain't never seen a neck fan before? Come on. This one I feel like is a little bit more weird looking. I don't know. Usually what gets my bags caught up in TSA, I have pre-check or global entry now, so like getting through TSA is usually fast. The only thing that trips me up sometime, I'll have selfie sticks and tripods and stuff, so everything in there looks like a baton, you know? But like, that's all fine. But it's my bag of cables. It's all wires and it's very dense. And so I think that always catches their eye. AJ says it's a Hammacher shop we're unboxing today. Yeah. It's what was that place called? Sharper. It's like a Sharper Image catalog. Oh my goodness. I don't think I can handle that. Yeah. But yeah, so those are the things that I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna bring these fans. I feel like, let's say I get there to that European city, and I feel like it's too ridiculous for me to carry these around, but I want to see someone carrying these around. I feel like I could give these to Robbie, and I feel like Robbie would like them too. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Daniel Burton says, oh, no, I think you're not talking to me on that one. But yeah, Sean Devin says, I don't think I could ever pull off a neck fan. I'd just suffer. I would normally agree with you, but I'm having like traumatic flashbacks to how hot it was in Budapest. It was so hot. That's why I'm just trying to think about that. I just don't think I'm gonna be able to handle it. Now the thing is, at the place, the stadium at the place, I think we're gonna be in I don't know if it's a box or a suite or what. I don't expect that it's gonna be air conditioned, but I don't think it's gonna be like in Budapest. You're sitting really close to each other. It was like shoulder to shoulder a lot of the time. So I feel like that also like added to the heat of everything. So I think maybe we'll have a little bit more space at the place we're going to. But the first night that I'm there, we're gonna go watch volleyball at 5:00 in the afternoon, and the beach volleyball one. And so like that's gonna be in the sun, some of the hottest part of the day. I feel like I'm like hop off the plane, put on the neck fan, and like just fully dive in. The other thing that I've been thinking about is like, you're going to Paris, and I've only got so much time there, and getting around I feel like is going to take longer than I expect. And so I'm really trying to be very judicious with what I'm trying to see. And like, when you're there, you're like, oh, well, I should go see the Louvre, or I prefer Musée d'Orsay. It's just the train station is beautiful that they have that the art in. But I'm just like, I don't think there's going to be time for that. I'm there to watch the Olympics. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm going to have to be very selective about what I bring, which equipment I'm bringing to film it with, or take photographs of it with, and all that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Andrew Scott says, comfort is king. Yeah. Calvin says, would a Legionnaire hat help trap the wind against your skin? I don't think so. Mark Peters says, Budapest was so hot you caved and rode a scooter. That is true. That is true. We rode a scooter to the stadium every night. It was actually kind of nice. Yeah. And Patrick says, hypothetical question. It's 100 degrees and security makes you decide between a neck fan or camera. Which do you bring? Of course, the camera. Camera for sure. Raquel Escatel says, but was Budapest hotter than Austin, Texas? It was not hotter than Austin, Texas. I will tell you that. I did run in Budapest, but much cooler temperatures in the day than Austin. Yeah. And I didn't sit like in the sunshine in Austin and try to watch a track meet and not fall asleep. It wasn't always sunny. Sometimes it was night, but like, you know what I mean? I wasn't just trying to sit and stay awake in that heat. Calvin says, have you scouted the routes to chase the marathoners, or is it something you do once you arrive? I have not really scouted the route for marathoners yet. The big reason for that is that I'm lazy. And the other reason for that is that like I will have a better sense of the lay of the land once I get there, because I'll be there for 3 days before the marathon. And so, looking at it now, it's all abstract. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's closed and what routes are going to be generally open or not, you know? And it seems to change every day. Like the day of the 20K race walk, they had a 1 kilometer loop closed off by the Seine and the Eiffel Tower. So they had really nice backdrops for that race. But then other days that area is open. So things change, like, and over by Montmartre, by the cathedral up there. Is that a cathedral up there? A lot of the cycling races go right by there, that giant staircase, you know? And so some days that's open and some days it's not. And so like I think someone that enjoys planning more than I do would probably have looked at it first, but I have not yet. I am thinking though that I might want to go for a run and try to run the big hill in the marathon course. I knew it was going to be hilly. Like I had heard that. And people said it was a really big hill. But I didn't realize it was a 13% grade hill for like a mile. So, yeah. Oh, Sacré-Cœur. It's Sacré-Cœur in Montmartre. Yeah, the cathedral. Yeah. Calvin says, any ASICS athletes who've medaled yet? Who's likely to? Val Allman is likely to medal in the discus. Trying to think who else. What's his name? Oberfeld, the shot putter. He had I think an outside chance, and it actually took one of the last chance throws from Kovacs. He was on the podium, and then Kovacs went from 4th to 2nd, and then pushed Oberfeld. Oberfeld? No, Aberdeen. I met him in Eugene. He's a new ASICS athlete, but he was so close to bronze. I'm trying to think of who else is out there. Cam Levins, I think, has a shot in the marathon. That's pretty exciting. Clayton Young, I think, will have a good day out there. I don't think that he's like one of the favorites to medal, but it'll be really exciting to see him race. Very excited to see what a lot of the North Americans are going to do. You know. Brett Reed says, what shoe wins the marathon? That's a great question. For the women, it might be the On Cloud Strike LS light spray. What a long name, lugubrious name. On Cloud Strike light spray. But yeah, I feel like that is a good shot of winning. For the men's, it's probably going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be probably an Alpha Fly, maybe an Adios Pro. I don't know that it'll be the Evo one. Luis says Philly Bowden got sponsored by On. I saw that video yesterday. I don't know if it came out yesterday, but I saw it yesterday. But that was good to see. She's been wearing On for a little while, which was very obvious. But it's good to see that there's something formal going on. I'm still intrigued by the whole like creator side of it. That I don't know how that's structured. No, that it's not really my business either. But I'd love to know more about that. But yeah, it's interesting. Especially in light of conversations that I've had with On. To be very opaque about it. So it's interesting. Daniel Britton thinks it might be Paris Edge on the men's podium. What does Cam run in? I feel like Cam's going to be a Paris, a Metaspeed Sky Paris guy. That's what I would think. Kevin Wong says, by conversations, I mean we have an infinite marketing budget. It's the opposite of the conversations that are. Maybe not the opposite, but it's not infinite. So that's part of it. Leona says the race walking was insane. I can't believe the top participants are doing a sub 7-minute mile. Here's the thing. No, I'm not going to say anything about race walking. Race walking is a great sport. Panos says, Mike, do you have any plans for group runs or meetups while in Paris? Anything in the afternoon and evenings? Nothing in the afternoon or evenings because we're usually pretty busy. We're going to the stadium for 2 nights, and that'll be for the evening sessions. I believe those are the last 2 nights of the meet. And then the first night I'm going to beach volleyball. And then I think we're getting there by boat, which makes sense. But also seems like over the top. I'm like, I think we will probably just take the Le Metro. But I think they're moving a lot of people at once. And so nothing in the evenings. But on the 9th, it should be on my Instagram feed now. I think I accepted the collaboration invitation with Believe in the Run and Sidious Mag and Featherston. We'll all be there. A lot of people there. We're going to go for a group run. It's going to be 1 to 2 laps around a little lake in a park. So it's a 1.6 mile loop. If you want to run it fast, do it twice. If you want to run it easy pace, run it once. And we'll hang out. I want to say it's going to be low key because it's not like a brand is supporting it. We're just getting together and we're all going to meet there. I have a feeling there's going to kind of be a lot of people at it. It's 7:30. It's 7:30 in the morning though, so that won't make it too big, hopefully. But it's not. There's not going to be like shoe demos. There's no bag drop. It's just meet at the park and we're going to run for a little bit. No water. Bring your own water. So. That's it. But it should be fun. The 9th. Steven Gersdorf says, would you eat escargot? I have eaten escargot. I've eaten it many times. The first time I ate it was in Paris 20 years ago. And then when I was in Chamonix for UTMB last year, I was having dinner I was with Kraft, and I was with a bunch of Kraft people there. And it was at this French chalet kind of place. Chalet not chalet. Ski lodge kind of place. And so I had French alpine food. And escargot was on the menu. So I was like, I'm going to get some escargot. Haven't had it in a long time. I've had it since being in Paris, but it had been a while. And Tommy Ribs was there. And Tommy Ribs is like, can I take a picture of you eating escargot and send it to my daughters? They think it's super gross, and it would be amazing if I could show it to them. I'm like, absolutely, you can. So I ate escargot for a picture. Well, because I wanted to eat them. They're good, garlicky if it's done right. It's basically just garlic and butter with a bug inside. It's pretty good. Man, you guys in the chat, you guys are hostile to the race walkers, and I feel like you shouldn't be disrespecting them like that because they are fast athletes. I'm just saying. And Leona says, the buttons you're going to have with Believe in the Run and Sidious Mag look amazing. They're pretty fun. I'm pretty excited for them. They're not the enamel pins that everyone else seems to have, but I feel like we had to get them. We made them. Thomas led the charge on that. Thomas did all the work on that. And he got them made in very tight turnaround schedule. And I think they look great. They're going to be fun to wear. And Calvin says, bring your pins from Worlds. They're still doing pin exchange and collections. I'm bringing some. Robbie messaged me and asked me if I'm going to be bringing pins. So I think Robbie's going to be my pin exchange buddy while we're in that European city. So that should be fun because I'm going to try to get some. And just to preview the Runners Weekend video, I'm still working on the Runners Weekend New York video. Hopefully that'll come out later tonight or tomorrow. But I was working on the one from Ridgefield. But to preview that, and nobody tell Robbie. I know Robbie doesn't watch this, but don't tell Robbie. But I'll tell you. I told Megan. So Robbie told me that he has been buying stuff on eBay because he's so excited about going to the thing in Europe. like old shirts from like tie-dye shirts. Remember when like the Lithuanian basketball team and stuff like that? So he's been buying like old tie-dye shirts and old pins. And he's like, you can have some and we'll do trades. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Awesome. I told this story to my sister. And remember, I told you she's worked at Olympics for a long time. She busts out a giant bag of pins from all these different Olympics. And she's like, here, I've got so many extras, take some. And so I have a Ziploc bag full of prior events from other European and Asian cities. I have pins. So I feel like that was going to be here's a question. So like most people that do it so there's two ways to do it, it seems like, with the pins. Either you have credentials and you pin them to your credentials. I'm not going to have credentials for this event. Or you do it the weird way, which you basically take like a Girl Scout vest and you pin them to a vest. I don't want to do that either, mainly because it's going to be hot. But also because I don't have a Girl Scout vest. So I don't know how I'm going to like let people know that I have pins to trade for. My sister said just keep a whole bunch of them in your pocket, but I'm like, how do I signal? Is there like a handshake or a wave, you know? And so, I don't know. Frank says pin him on a hat. Daniel says pin him on a bucket hat. Mark says running vest with water and put the pins on that. That's not a bad idea. Michelle DeMaio says like a Disney lanyard. Yeah, I know. I think so. But I don't want people to think that I brought like a fake credential. I'm trying to pretend that I have I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to pretend I have credentials because I do not have credentials. You know? So that's the thing. That's the thing. Eliza says, will you go watch breakdancing since it's a new sport? What's the situation on it? Do I have to get tickets for that? It's not on my itinerary right now, you know? Let's see. Let's do one more thing here. Johnny Dodgen with a great question. Would you like to see cross-country running included in the big sports event in the future? Yeah, in the winter event gathering, the sports con that they do in the winters, Sebco was saying that they're working on it to put that into a winter event. It would be in the same location as cyclocross, which I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm assuming it has something to do with bikes, but it'll be the same course as that. And I kind of really like that idea, but how cold is it going to be? Now, I know that there are cross-country races that happen in the snow, basically like the Big Ten championships every year, for example. But I also don't love it there. I like the idea that there's some sort of running in the winter sports con, but I don't, is that it? I don't know. I feel like, you get some new fans interested in it, maybe. I would watch it for sure. I would watch it. I feel like it would be a really great test event. Do they do test events for the winter sports games thing? How like breakdancing is the test event for this one, and then like rock climbing was the test event for last one. Do they do test events for the winter one? I don't know. Raquel Escatel says, for the pins, wear a fishing vest. I don't know. So one of the things that I believe that is going to be provided, we'll have like a swag bag when we get there, and one is going to be like a little, those shoulder bags that have like a little pocket in it, and I feel like that probably is going to be small enough to bring into the stadium. They have like limitations on how big bags can be and stuff, and I feel like maybe I'll just wear that as a shoulder bag and put the pins on that, and then have my other pins inside it. So what's inside your bag? More pins, And I guess if they're like, that bag can't come in, I could just take the pins and just shove them all in my pocket and then take the pins off and be like, fine, take it. You know, I don't know. I got to figure it out. And Richard Wilson says, yes, they do test events at the Winter Sports Con. Curling was in 88. That was a successful edition, right? I feel like that's probably the most compelling example of a good sports edition. You know what I think is the weirdest? Again, I don't want to knock anyone's Olympic experience, but I just have I don't understand 3-on-3. I also don't understand why they insist on calling it 3x3. But basketball exists as an Olympic sport. Why does 3-on-3 also exist as a sport in the Olympics? Who added that? When did it get added? I don't know. Weird. All right. One last shoe thing and then I got to go because this coffee, I got some heartburn today. Maybe I'm not hydrated enough. Calvin says, it's kind of surprising Sha'Carri had her own custom color sprint spikes when even Jakob used the default orange one. Are we talking about orange? Like it's that cat print, leopard print one? Puma print one? Leopard print one? Did she have her own spikes? Interesting. Yeah. Did you guys also see that in the press conference after the men's 100-meter final, Noah Lyles was like, I want my own shoe now. He's like, and not a spike either, because spikes don't make money. I want a trainer. I think that's amazing. Drew sent me a clip of that because Drew and I have had that very conversation that there aren't any runner signature shoes. And we're trying to think back to what some of the runner signature shoes were. And I think Drew's point was that, like, if you are, say, maybe a competitor, but on the same, sponsored by the same, company, you wouldn't want for like the Alpha Fly. Instead of an Alpha Fly, it was just called the Kipchoge, And if you're racing against Kipchoge, to show up on the line wearing a Kipchoge because you like the Alpha Fly, you know what I mean? That would be awkward for that other athlete, Plus, it also probably costs that brand a lot more money. But I was saying, but then you could do a collab shoe, like they had the Kipchoge edition of the Alpha Fly 1. So you could do that. But I was like, I don't know. But I hope he gets them. I hope he gets them. Calvin says you need longevity in the running. Only Elliott has really stayed relevant for long enough. Yeah, I think that it's a little early for Noah to be demanding that. Hopefully he gets there. I think if he does the 1-2 double, then instantly it's a lot more longevity. But yeah. And Frank says, I think a lot of basketball players still wore Jordans. Did they? I don't remember that. But now it seems like a lot of times they'll have a shoe and then they'll be like that player's version of that shoe or another player, and the colors will be different, but it's the same base model shoe, So I feel like that's probably more likely, kind of like the Mo Farah pegs. It's still a Pegasus, but there's a Mo Farah version, just like there's still an Alpha Fly 1, but there's an Elliott Kipchoge version. So I feel like maybe they would do that. How much would that sell? I don't know. I just feel like I don't know how. I don't follow basketball shoes that closely, so I don't think Drew's in here today. But is Adidas still making collab shoes, or signature shoes with their athletes? I just feel like if I were Adidas, I think you could make a very good argument for we're not going to make any shoes with people for a little while. You know what I mean? Not to say that Noah Lyles is going to turn into another Kanye. Good Lord, I hope not. But, they could easily make the case where we're going to hold back off on that for a little bit. All right, Daniel Burton says, have fun on your trip. I will post what I can from while I'm over there. Just check out the stories and stuff. I'll post the stuff. My goal is to capture the wacky of the Olympics. You know, all the regal stuff of the game, of the place. That place I'm going. You know, so I feel like I'm not. There's regal things, there's impressive things, there's inspiring things, but I want to see that. But I also want to capture like, what's weird about this place. I feel like it's going to be like the strangest runner con ever, and I can't wait to see all that. So, yeah. So that's going to be it. No live stream this Thursday. I will be back Sunday night. I'll be in rough shape, but I think we're going to do another live stream next Monday. So I'll be back from the place for next Monday, and we could talk all about it then. All right, guys. While I'm gone, be safe out there. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and I'll see you when I get back. All right. Thanks. Bye.